JDs and Linneman, welcome to the first episode of the Pokemon Fire Red Leaf Green Speedrun Letter Challenge. I'm your host, Zeej, and I will be taking you through this next set of 26 videos in a row to create a tier list at the end. We're going to see who is the quickest letter and who is the slowest letter, excluding, I guess it's only 24 videos, excluding a few letters because there aren't any in the original 151. We're going to start this video off by naming ourselves something that I love to eat, avocado.
What did he say?
Nonetheless, let's jump right into it. So what we're going to be doing here is using only Pokemon of the given letter, in this case letter A, and I happen to find an Abra in one of these Pokeballs. Wow, how weird that I found that there. And we're going to name him Artichoke, because the beginning he is going to choke.
Hey yo, what the
Pause. Moving on. Abra's performance is going to be extremely lackluster, as you can tell. For any Pokemon aficionados, you will know why Abra would suck so bad. For anybody who may not know, Abra only knows one move, which, you know, level 5, pretty low, makes sense, just started the game. Unfortunately, that one move does not deal any damage. In fact, the only thing it does is run away. So, what do we do about this? Well, what we're going to do is, since we have to use letter A Pokemon, we're going to use up all of our teleports, and then we're going to use this move known as Struggle, where we deal some damage, and then we end up taking recoil damage back. And shout out to Game Freak for this one, because they thought of struggling when you run out of PP, which is the story of my life, but the only recoil I take back is emotional, so a little bit different there. I really can't overstate how bad this is going to be. This took so much time to get through and do, and even to make it to Brock, let alone beat Brock, but thankfully you guys are here to share in this misery with me and watch it play out. I think this is a pretty good time to explain some of the ground rules. Some of the rules are going to be open for interpretation, and I think we can add or subtract wherever necessary. But starting out, we're going to say that we're only allowed to use Pokemon of the current letter. Pretty obvious. So in this case, our Pokemon lineup is going to be Abra, Alakazam, Arcanine, Arbok, and Aerodactyl. We're also excluding legendaries. Articuno would be just a little OP. I don't think it's something that we really want to go towards, or at least something I don't really want to do. I just kind of want to use a regular Pokemon, not considered legendaries. Another rule is going to be if they need to evolve to become that. So, for example, we're going to be using an Arbok in this run. Arbok starts out as Ekans, and we can find Ekans right near Cerulean. What we want to do, or what I'm going to allow, because I don't want to use an Ekans, I'm going to kind of borrow a Nuzlocke rule and artificially level up this Pokemon, Ekans, to the level cap of the current gym leader. In the Ekans to Arbok case, it would be Misty's Starmie, her ace, is level 21. So we're going to level him up to 21, and then we would switch train to collect that Arbok that we can use in the run. If Arbok evolved at 19, we could just level him up to that point and then use him from there on at 19. We wouldn't be able to continue using another level up method like a rare candy to get him to the ace's peak level. To that point, I'm not allowed to sell anything that isn't specifically supposed to be meant for selling. In this case, a nugget. A nugget's worth 5,000 Poké dollars. So there's going to be no selling of any full heals, any potions, anything else that comes into my inventory other than those things. Something that I do also want to include is I want to at least catch one Pokemon from every evolution line. That'll increase the time a little bit because some Pokemon are really hard to catch and some are not. It would only feel right that if we're doing a letter run, we're going to catch all of them of that letter. What I don't want to do is blow up the time if they're not going to be used. An example of this would be in the letter D. If I don't want to use a Doug Trio I'm going to catch a Diglett, and I'm not going to evolve it, because it would be a waste of XP points getting there, and because they're of the same letter, I'm not going to be using the rare candies that I find throughout the run to evolve him. So it would really just be burning time on wild Pokemon, which is no fun. I don't think it adds anything to the speed of the run. I don't think it adds anything to the integrity of the run. Sound off in the comments if you think that's something that I should be doing. I could obviously rerun if necessary. Would hate to be doing this one. Luckily that there's none of that in the A run, but for example on the D run or any subsequent run where that would be the case. But I think those are the basic rules going through the game. As we check back in, I'm still trying to burn teleports and level up facing level 2 Rattatas, level 2 Pidgeys, because that's all I can really fight. The recoil damage that Struggle is giving me ends up being about 3 damage, give or take. It obviously depends on their defense stats, depends on their health. So I can only stay out here for so long. I can only fight maybe 2 Rattatas or 2 Pidgeys by the time I need to go back, heal up, come back, waste another 20, and then do it all again. And yes, as you'll see and as I'll begin to cut out, that I just continually use tons of time doing this. Skipping ahead to our first big milestone, we actually are in the Petalburg Woods, now at level 12 after this Caterpie fight, fighting our first bug trainer. You know, how could this possibly go? Is it going to go well? Going to go poorly? After that first hit, looks like it's going pretty well. 2 struggles, knock it down. 16 health left. Looks like we're going to need 3 struggles on the Caterpie. Hopefully it doesn't tackle. Ooh, we hit the range. We're out. Very, very successful. You know, the first time we're in here. And as you'll see, there's a panel on the left-hand side that I decided to put up with all the relevant encounters and all the Pokemon we're going to be had in this run. The Pokeball is next to the Abra because we already have that Pokemon caught. Moving from there, skipping ahead again, second big milestone, double Weedle trainer right here, both level 7, and we're at level 13. So take them both down. The problem with Kakunas and Metapods, they have a little bit more health. Obviously they're evolved, but in this case, really not a problem. Honestly, something that I like to fight to level up in this case, because typically Kakunas and Metapods both show up at level 4, level 5, and they're evolved. So you get 40 XP for each of them. Now, again, you get some trade-off with the hardens, with the life, with the struggle. In the end, there is a sweet spot for percentage recoil and experience gain. And that's kind of where I want to try and sit, and doing that with Kakunas and Metapods eventually ends up being the most effective way to do it, despite them having a more slim encounter rate than something like a Caterpie or Weedle. If I don't kill them in one shot, the Weedle has a chance to Poison Sting, and the Caterpie has a chance to tackle, where I'm wasting away HP that could be used towards an actual fight. Next step in our journey is to fight this level 9 Weedle. It's the trainer blocking our way to Pewter City. I waited till level 15 so we could do it. Oh, first struggle, halfway down. Poison, not a good sign, not a good sign. All right, struggle all the way there, 13 left. Let's see if we can make it to Pewter City and the Poke Center before we pass out. Nope. All right, died on the way there. So we're gonna have to reset all the way back to Viridian City. Unfortunately, take the run back. As you can see, I saved there, and it's about 3.5 hours of in-game time right now, which is not the best thing, but we finally achieved level 16 where we have to continually hit B to prevent ourselves from evolving, so that's always a good time. Advancing towards the first trainer in Brock's gym, now that we're level 20, way ahead of time, we can finally fight this Geodude on a semi-even playing field. As you see, we take him out, got about a little bit over 20 health, 25 health when we start fighting Sandshrew. Sandshrew, not an issue. The sand attacks really didn't cause us any problem. Defense curls could cause us an issue. Luckily, in that case, he didn't do too many, so we were good. From here, we're just gonna have to jump right ahead so this video doesn't last forever, but we're moving right ahead to Brock. Now, this was the longest stretch of the entire game. I lied. So we're going to take our first shot at Brock at level 20, see what we can do. Geodude, looks like we're having some really good luck with Geodude right here. 19 health at level 20, going into Onix level 14. Misses Rock Tomb, hits it. That's a ton of damage, bro. Damn. That's crazy. Alright, so we're going to need some more levels because we don't have anything to pick up. We don't have Thief. We don't have anything. But we got pretty close. I'm going to try again at level 21. Hope for the best. Geodude, Defense Curl. Keep Defense Curling, baby. Keep running it up. And I'll keep struggling. Keep running it up. Come on, Geodude. Or I'll take a crit. I'll take a little late crit. I would love a crit here. We can crit. The Rock Tomb. Not a great look. Onix throwing some of the rocks out of his ass to let it come down on the artichoke here. You know, our greens are not doing well into the rocks. Going ahead, level 22, giving it one more shot. Anything? Geodude, pretty consistent. Geodude, good source of XP in this case. Obviously, Onix going to tear us a new one. But yeah, Geodude, definitely a good source of XP. Is the most effective over going to the forest, over taking these Pidgeys on Route 2. It's kind of up for debate. I think the best method is probably to still just farm through all of the Metapod and Kakunas just to gain levels. But it's hard to not want to go fight the Geodude. Unfortunately, consistency on the Geodude is not 100%. Still losing battles, still, if I don't get enough defense curls, if I don't get a crit, or maybe if he crits on his tackle, then there's still problems beating him. So that's why at this point, it's still effective to go the other route. So sticking with the theme, we're gonna come right back with our Abra, level 25 this time. I skipped ahead a bunch, just so we can get through some of the grinding. I did try at every single level beforehand. So 23 did not work, 24 did not work, and I tried at least 3 times to try and get some type of consistency out of it. 25, I leveled up into 26. We're really close. He crit and hit me on that last one. I think we can do it. 26 seems to be the level. 26, recoil here. Struggle, 3-shot the Geodude. 43 health coming into this. Huge amount of health. Massive, some might say. 18 health left. Still using Rock Tomb. Why doesn't he have the speed advantage yet? Doesn't matter. We get the win. We get the win. And we're out. Now, remember, all that time ago, I gave you a time update at 3.5 in-game hours. Look at us now. 13.5 in-game hours of grinding to get through this. What an insane number. It's just that exponential leveling that comes up. And when you're fighting level 2, 3, 4, and sometimes level 5s, getting 40 XP a shot, it takes forever to get through this. As you'll see, I kind of put this in here just to show you that there is some areas where I think I'm going to do more damage than I actually do, and I end up getting stuck with these teleports, and I am struggling and dying. But we now have Thief. Thief is an actually attacking move, which steals items as well. So I'll take what I can get, and it's a special move being Dark. So Abra's special is pretty high, honestly, in comparison to other Pokemon. So again, I'll take what I can get, and the game is running much smoother now that we have this move. The problem with Thief is that it has 10 PP, and it's 40 base damage. So we need something to supplement that, and what we actually did pick up was Mega Punch from one of those karate trainers. Luckily, we shouldn't have to rely too heavily on it because now we have our Ekans, so we can finally get to our Arbok. And I bet y'all ain't expecting this name, but I've been sitting on this for a while. Kind of what I wanted to get into the category for, but Alfalfa is going to be my pick for the Ekans. So now that we named him, I'm going to skip through some of the Nugget Bridge portion, and I think we're going to move right ahead to Misty, because that is typically a very hard fight. Now we're level 31, huge jump in level, and now that we have actual attacking moves, we are golden. We Mega Punch Staryu once, and we finish off with Thief. Thief's a dark type move, so it's going to be super effective against the Starmie. Now that's part Psychic. And we finish Misty off pretty easily. Pause. Bro! As you can see, we evolved our Ekans into Arbok. Now that our level cap is 24 with Surge, we were able to do that very quickly, so we don't have to fiddle around with that long leveling process. But the other thing that's happening right here is I'm showing that now that our Abra has been evolved into a Kadabra, there's no longer a way for us to use Kadabra because Kadabra starts with K, believe it or not. So it's going to be a lot of switch training to get us to get the experience that we can switch into an Alakazam. And at 37, I'm going to end up trading the Alakazam because I think 37 is a representative level to evolve for a third stage evolution. After all this, I wanted to bring you guys in and show you this glorious moment that our boy's going to evolve. This is it. We finally get the payoff after all this time struggling.
Yeah, boy.
And now that we have my glorious king, I can show you the lovely next step of Lieutenant Surge and his horrible, horrendous, worst thing they've ever put in Pokemon, but honestly got to be one of the most fun random things to occur. Electric Lock Puzzle. Fighting Surge. At this point, we are over leveled, number 1, and our special attack is kind of off the charts. So, in all reality, we just need to put some really good moves behind it, and we really got a force to be reckoned with here. And as you can see, we just so happen to be buying this Firestone for our Growlithe we picked up along the way. I'm going to use it on him real quick so we can get that Arcanine named Arugula. Jumping to Giovanni, we're at level 47. We're still over leveled at this point, and now that we have a little bit of coverage as well as King Zam, it's really like 3 up, 3 down for the most part. He doesn't really stand a chance. Despite Kangaskhan taking a few hits because they got the extra bulk to back that up. So we get the Sylph Scope and we're on our way. I am fighting the majority of the trainers along the way just to try and gain these levels so that we have an easier time towards the Elite Four, as I'm not going to be using rare candies at that point, obviously, because that's partly in the rule set, as well as I'm going to be picking up elixirs such as berries along the way, but I don't want to miss out on early XP and then have to go back and fight them later. So I think picking up as much XP as I possibly can, as well as this is going to be my ace. This guy has stats that are ridiculous, specifically for the Elite Four, and a move coverage that can really help us out. He learned Shockwave, he doesn't learn Thunderbolt, unfortunately. Shockwave does have 20 PP and it never misses, so we get a lot of longevity out of the move, which is a reason that I do like it. Thief, I still have around because I know we're going to have to fight Sabrina, Slowbro, Jinx, Gengars, and even the Alakazam in the back for the champ. All of those Pokemon are ones that I would definitely want Dark Move for, I believe, right now, but I don't really know. Mega Punch still around, we have that normal type coverage. Grass is something that we're not good into, in all honesty. So us going into Erica, not that we're at a disadvantage because I'm level 48 with Alakazam, but I don't really have an advantage move other than Mega Punch, which is normal effective. So these guys, if I miss because it's Mega Punch, or if I don't kill them because, again, I have terrible physical attack with Alakazam, especially on Erica, there's so many different paralysis, poison, sleeps that they can drop in when I miss Mega Punches, that it's still not entirely free. And after clearing out the rest of our Rat Pack, we can finally go Fighter. We see that Alakazam, I go in at 49, I don't even bother going back for the health. I mean, it's going to save me a little bit of time. 2 Thieves, drop them, the Victory Bell. 1 Thief drops Tangela. So I keep saying, like, this is going to take longer because I don't have any super effective moves and we're not quite good into this. In reality, I could have just went and gotten Psychic real quick and then we would have been perfectly fine. But I ended up waiting until after because it would have been time to run there, run back, and then continue going forward. So now we fight our 4th rival fight, and it ends up being pretty much a cakewalk. I mean, now that we have Psychic, everything kind of goes pretty smoothly for us. And honestly, nothing else in the Pokemon Tower even gives us any trouble. So just moving right on to Koga, we drop them all with Psychic. Again, Psychic being super effective against Poison. There's really not anything that stood in our way, and being this over leveled at this point in the game made it very, very simple. As I drop this last coughing and wheezing real quick. The next place we're actually going to go is to Blaine and fight him. Maybe a surprise, maybe not a surprise, but Blaine, Sabrina, you can kind of do them in either fashion. In this case, I just want to showcase that, you know, in the hope for speed. Hold on, you're telling me that I did in one shot?
Huh?
I try and do the best I can, mitigating damage and trying to help with health points and things like that, but sometimes I'm gonna end up losing just because I didn't carry enough health going into this battle and I wasn't expecting a Fire Blast to be doing that much damage. Just kind of an oversight on my part. You know, sometimes you're Tokyo drifting and sometimes you're doing donuts on a snowy day in the parking lot of a Walmart alone. And I try and do a little bit of planning, try and get some information ahead of time. I look at the moveset, I look at the evolution lines, I look at all the different Pokemon that are going to be in this letter, and I try and decide who's going to play the ace, who's going to play the supporting cast. Is there going to be an ace? Is it possible to have that? So all this planning just to say things can still go awry and not according to plan. It's just how the cookie crumbles. And sometimes that does happen. I think it's all part of a run. Going in the second time, super easy. Blaine didn't stand a chance. We had enough just in case that something went wrong. And hell no, Bill, I ain't going to your damn island. Now, tossing him aside, we can go pick up this Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl? It sucks you get it so late in the game because it is such a strong Pokemon. It's so fast. It's got a lot of good stats. The typing, not the worst in the world. You know, Rock typically not a great type, especially in these older games, but it's pretty strong. Getting Ancient Power and Wing Attack. Naming the boy Adzuki Bean. Alright, enough of that. Skipping ahead. Rival 5 fight. I'm going to use Shockwave first. One-shot the Pidgeot, 30 levels ahead. Going to use Shockwave again on Gyarados. Also going to be a one-shot. Go to level 68. Charizard, actually going to go for Psychic here. I think the Stab Psychic might do more. Thief, Execute, one shot, of course. Thief, Alakazam. Of course we got him. Lock it up. Move on forward. It looks like we're unstoppable. It feels gorgeous. God, does it feel good to be doing this. Psychic kills everything. Even the Kangaskhan, that bulky boy. Giovanni, that was never a problem. So we're just going to clean them up with a few Psychics and then jump ahead to Sabrina. Not that I think Sabrina's going to be difficult, but going in with the game plan, Psychic Pokemon are typically weak defensively, so probably going to try and Mega Punch early on. And we take out Kadabra nice and easy. Venomoth, same fate. Now again, we're many levels ahead. Mr. Mime drops as well. Miss, so we take a Psychic, but doesn't really no damage to us, and we end it with a Mega Punch on the Alakazam. Sabrina, super easy, and Giovanni, also going to be super easy. With the poison types, we're super effective against. What are we going to do here? So in this case, going to drop a Psychic on the Rhyhorn. Going to go to Thief for Dugtrio. Dugtrio is super weak, so that's why I switched to Thief. Psychic for the Nidoqueen for sure. Psychic Nidoking. And then on our last PP is Psychic. Take out that last Rhyhorn. Why is that not a Rhydon? Who knows? Kind of an oversight. TBH. As you probably saw, we definitely need to go to the Poke Center. Got 27 health, but mainly we're out of power points for this next rival fight. So we're gonna real quick run around, heal up, just so we can get the power points back in this case, and then run over to Rival 6. Rival 6 typically is a pretty difficult fight, I want to say, but not for our Artichoke. Alakazam, Shockwave, Thief, Psychic, it ends up being really, really good into this team. Because we can Shockwave end up half of the team, because Gyarados is flying and water, that's 4x effective. Charizard, being 50% flying type, gets that 2x effective. Pidgeot, normal flying, gets 2x effective. Their Alakazam doesn't die here on that last hit, so that could be a red flag going into the Elite Four. Now that we're here, I just skipped through Victory Road. So this is going to be our final team as we enter the Elite Four. Our Artichoke at 76, Aerodactyl, which is the Adzuki Bean, Arcanine, which is the Arugula, and Arbok, which is our Alfalfa. Checking that save time out, we're now at 28 in-game hours as we start fighting Lorelei. Dugong, first shot, tried to Shockwave here, doesn't initially go as planned, hoping for a one-shot, but ends up being a two-shot. Uses a full restore though, so that's a good sign. Contemplating right now what we do on Lapras, because it came out second, kind of unexpected for me. And he used the Ice Beam. Ice Beam didn't really have any effect on us. Got a crit there, so that's really nice on the Shockwaves. One Shockwave takes Cloyster down after that, and could go Thief, could go Shockwave. I think Shockwave is the best play here. Oh, almost get the one shot on the Slowbro. Maybe it's a range. Going for it again. Maybe we're getting bad luck on that range. Either way, it gets taken out with a return, and we end up using a Thief on Jinx to finish Lorelei out. Bruno should not be a problem whatsoever. The plan on this is to use Psychic all the way through. Maybe we don't have to on some of the Onyxes, but I don't really have another move that would be good on the Onyx. So one shot the Onyx with Psychic, one shot the Hitmonchan with Psychic, one shot the Hitmonlee with Psychic, one shot the Onyx with Psychic, one shot the Machamp with Psychic. What an interesting battle. God. Bruno's maybe all-time worst Elite Four members. Swear to God. So Agatha is going to be an interesting one. Gengars are pretty strong, so we're going to Psychic the first one shot him. Shockwave Golbat, not a problem. Arbok, Psychic, again, not a problem. And I'm running low on PP for Psychic, got 3 left. Switch to Thief. Thief actually does a good range for us in that spot if we want a 2-shot. Unfortunate part was we got put to sleep and now we have Nightmare. Got woken up. Perfect. Thief, we're good. And then if Thief did that much damage to the last Gengar, Haunter, one Thief is going to take it down. So we're sitting pretty going into Lance. Looking for the 1-shot. I mean, I think we could do it. Just double checking what my moveset is if I need to Ether up. 3 Psychics, 5 Thieves. I think I got it. I mean, they have what? Aerodactyl, Gyarados. That's gonna be Shockwaves, and then hopefully 1, 2, 3 with the Dragonair, Dragonite. Shockwave on Gyarados. First shot. Bang. We're good. Shockwave doesn't kill Aerodactyl and we get Scary Face, so that could be a problem. But we don't move second still, which is good. I was expecting us to be slower now. And we're still faster than Dragonite. Huge come up. Citrus Berry puts it back into 2-shot range. Still good. Alright. So we have 2 Psychics left. Or 1 Psychic left. But we use Return here. 50%. Shockwave. See what we could do. Hyper Beam. If they got the crit, they would have knocked us out. But we clean it up, and I think we just dumped this last Psychic right here just to make it sure. Because if they even used Dragon Range, we were at 36, we would have been cooked. So I don't think it was worth it at that point. And I'm going to use an Ether to heal him up here, or to increase the PP here. So we should be perfect going into the champion fight. So the champ starts with his Pidgeot. And honestly, not too scared. Shockwave should be a 1-shot. Ooh, Okay. Dumps a full restore on it. Still not a one-shot. We got that. Man, that's crazy. That was a lot of extra damage on that range. Gyarados, we end up two-shotting the Pidgeot. Gyarados ends up being a one-shot. That 4x effectiveness is coming in clutch. End up trying to Psychic here and being a two-shot. Not a problem whatsoever, considering we're still fast. Thief on the Alakazam after we kill that Charizard with 2 Psychics. Two-shot with the Thief. We're at 72 life. 1 Psychic on Rhydon. That's got to take him down. His special defense isn't any good. And Executor. Gonna switch back to Thief. And I don't know if with the light screen is gonna set it up. Okay, we're good. Cleared it through. 1-shot. Alright, we take those. And we're finally champs. Alright, now we just gotta see what time this was. I mean, we had 28 hours going in. What do we at the end? 28:54, just under 29 in-game hours. Alright. Man, what a wild ride. What a horrendous beginning to probably going to be what I would assume is the easiest back half that it could possibly be. At 28:54, that is, gotta be honest, that sucks. It's kind of a mess. There's a few letters that I could think that are going to take longer and potentially struggle more, but this is a tough one. As for the tier list, so it's just starting out, but 28:54 is bad. I gotta think this goes in a D tier. I mean, the back half felt too good to call it an F tier, but the front half felt so unbelievably bad that I wouldn't recommend anybody do that. Alright guys, well, it's been fun. It's been long, but it's been fun. And they're going to drop the rank of D tier. We'll see how this goes. Going to do next letter. Hopefully it's going to come out soon. Depends on work schedule, extracurriculars, so on and so forth. But had a great time. Hope you guys had a great watch. And that's Z just signing off. See ya.